This is where we hold them. This is where we fight. And these shields, boys!
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Shady. You're in the zone, and we are coming to you live on this beautiful Thursday morning from the Colorado Rocky Mountains. I hope everybody is doing okay. The great thing about lives, I love to hate them. I hate to love them. You can change up a live just like that. You can add things to it. You can take away from it. And that being said, there's something that I need to get out of the way really quick before I get into the meat and potatoes of this video or of this live stream. Sunday night, Savannah Guthrie from, I believe it's NBC, could be ABC. Good Morning America. Her mom, 84 years old, lives in Tucson, Arizona, was abducted from her home right after getting home from church that evening. The lady is 84 years old. She's not in the greatest health in the world. And I really don't care what side of the aisle you're on, what your politics are. You know, this woman is dependent on medication to keep her going. She's in constant pain. Like I said, she's 84 years old. And it doesn't matter what your politics are. It don't matter what side of the aisle that you're on. We need to pray for this woman because nobody deserves what this family's going through right now, or what Savannah's mom, I believe her name is Nancy. Yep, Nancy. Nobody deserves that. So if you get a minute, sometime during the day, please stop, say just a quick little prayer for this lady. Hopefully, she will be returned safely. I actually have, if I can pull it up here, let me see. I actually have the, this is the statement that the family made last night. And I'm going to play this just because.
On behalf of our family, we want to thank all of you for the prayers for our beloved mom, Nancy. We feel them, and we continue to believe that she feels them too. We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. As a family, we are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk. However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her. We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen. Please reach out to us.
So that was a statement that the family made last night on TV. And just to pay attention to chat for just a minute, Red Dog, that's a great question. Who abducted by who? Right now, they don't know. They're looking. They don't know. I think somebody said it in chat, and I believe Coffee first didn't speak. Right now, they're looking in the son-in-law. Honestly, the whole thing looks super fishy. I pray this woman is okay. And I think that's the sentiment that we should all have right now. It's just, let's just pray that the woman is okay. I mean, this is a perfect example of how desensitized we are to all this. Something like this happens, and instead of it being breaking news, these days, it's like we're watching a police mystery or something on TV. I mean, we have become so just programmed to accept these kind of things on a daily basis every single day that it almost it's the norm now. And some of that's got to do with information flying around the internet, at the speed that it does. But we need to keep in mind that this is a human being, and who did it, why they did it, none of that really is important. What's important is this 84-year-old lady is missing. She's been taken by who we don't know, why we don't know. There's rumors of a ransom note and all that stuff, but none of that matters, y'all. Look, if it was my mom, my grandma, I would be on my knees constantly praying to the Lord to bring her back home. And I think all of us as human beings can have that kind of compassion, even in the world that we're living in today. Now, let's check over in chat and see what's going on. Hey, Coffee, Maria, how you doing? Red Dog, how are you? Share Bear, good morning to you. Katrinka, how you doing? Were you the first one in chat this morning? Coffee first, then speak. How's everybody doing today? Thank y'all for coming in. I appreciate it. Good morning to you, Mary Miles. How you doing? To get to what I wanted to talk about, and it sort of kind of plays into that mindset that I was talking about. I have seen in almost my 64 years of existence on this planet, I've seen a lot of things. I've seen some very good things, and I've seen some very bad things. In my career, I have witnessed probably the most horrible things that one human being can do to another human being. And something that I've seen here lately that really and truly just, it disgusts me to the core. And yeah, it has to do with all these ICE protests and things like that. People are literally taking their children to protest now. There was a big thing going around here a couple of days ago about, I think it was a 5-year-old got gassed or something like that. Folks, if you're out there and you're listening, hey, good morning, True Talk Radio. If you're out there right now and you happen to be listening to this and you're taking your child to a protest in sub-zero degree weather at night, where there is a potential for that child to get hurt, to get sprayed in the face with gas, you know what, Scooter? You're a child abuser. That's all I got to say for you. You are either a child abuser or you are putting that child in danger. Either one, you should be ashamed of yourself. I mean, seriously, we have seen people get hurt. We have seen people get killed at these protests. And you want to drag your 5-year-old out into this? You got to be kidding me. Seriously? And then we've got this trend that's going on, and it happened last Friday right here in Colorado. I think here in Colorado Springs, there were 3 or 4 schools that had to literally shut down because there were so many teachers that were taking off work to go to an ICE protest. And if that's not bad enough, there are high schools, there are middle schools, there are elementary schools that are releasing their children to go out and protest ICE. In other words, the people that your tax money is paying for to educate your child and to keep your child safe are allowing your children to go out, to leave campus, to protest ICE. Now, I've got just a little bit here if I can find it. Let me see. I believe I got it. Yes, that did get it. Y'all hang on. It's me. And that is not the right one that I want. There you go. These are high school students. I'm not sure where this is from, but these are high school students. And folks, that's what your tax money is paying for. Your tax money is paying for these schools to let your kids go out into the middle of this chaos and protest. I saw one film. I couldn't find it right before I came on. I looked for it, but I saw one video of this group of students, maybe 7, 8 years old. I mean, these were wee little fellas. And their teachers are surrounding them, or at least there's 4 or 5 teachers that are walking with them as they go down a sidewalk, headed toward an ICE protest. They look like kindergartners, y'all. They literally looked like they were maybe 6 years old. Some of these kids' signs that they were holding were bigger than the children themselves. You know, I've said this on social media, and I'm going to say it right here. I can remember seeing movies. I can remember reading news clips, news articles about the Vietnam War, which I was a little kid during the Vietnam War. But I remember seeing and hearing about a group of GIs in a bar, somewhere in Vietnam. The little 12-year-old girl that comes in there every day selling flowers to these GIs walks in the door with her basket of flowers. A minute later, the place blows up because the Viet Cong had planted a bomb in this child's flower basket, simply to go in to that establishment and kill service members. There's been all kinds of stories about Hamas and the Taliban that would send these 12-year-old kids into the middle of a group of soldiers with a suicide vest on. These people, these protesters, are using these kind of terrorist tactics. I mean, how long is it going to be before you see a group of these protesters with a line of children in front of them, hoping, thinking, praying that law enforcement is not going to gas them or move on them because they're placing kids in front of them? And I probably just gave some nut job out there the idea. But how long is it going to be? How long is it going to be before we see them doing this? Terrorists will use children to do their dirty work. And now we have public schools all across this country, not just here, but all across this country. We have public schools with teachers that are indoctrinating your children, mind messing with them, talking them into believing that law enforcement and ICE is evil, and sending them out to protest. It's probably one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen before in my life. And like I said, it's your tax money that are paying these schools, paying these school districts to pay these teachers to do this. The world has gone insane, y'all. And if you're a parent sitting at home and your child is being allowed to leave school property to go out and protest, you need to go down to your school and you need to get up in some people's faces and you need to pull your kid out of that school. I don't care where you take them. Homeschooling is always a great option, but you literally need to march down to that school, pull your kid out of class, and put them somewhere else where they are safe. Maybe where, oh, I don't know, the teachers and the faculty of that school actually care enough about your children to teach them instead of indoctrinating them, and keep them safe instead of letting them go out into the middle of a riot. Katrina said those kids should have been playing and enjoying childhood. Katrina, you're exactly right. And it's not just the little kids, the teenagers, the high schoolers. These kids should be playing football. They should be playing some kind of sport, cheerleading, involved in some kind of club that is actually beneficial to them. But instead, this is what we see. Coffee first, they want a civil war too. If they are fighting each other, we're not fighting them, and that's who we should be fighting. I agree with part of what you said, Coffee. I do believe that there is an element in this country that is dumb enough that they want to start a hot war, a hot civil war in this country. If y'all don't believe right now that we are in the middle of a cold civil war, that we are in the middle of a social media kind of civil war thing, then you need to wake up. Because we're already in the middle of a cold civil war, y'all. I mean, that's all I can say. And I've said it before in some of my other videos. From a tactical standpoint, a civil war, a hot war in this country, no way it'll work. It will be guerrilla warfare, if anything. But we are in the middle of at least a psychological civil war right now. We have two opposite sides. They cannot get along. The divide, I believe, honestly, I believe the divide has gotten so far or so expansive that I don't know if that rift can ever be healed again. In other breaking news, and once again, I'm gonna see if I can do this. I just want to know real quick, does anybody remember this? This was a video that I did about 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. Secret Chinese biolab discovered in California. The video was about, as you can see, 13 minutes long. And I think it might have got 40, maybe 50 views. But I reported on this undocumented, unlicensed, abandoned warehouse that these Chinese nationals had turned into a biolab. Well, guess what, boys and girls? 2.5, 3 years later, we're seeing it all happen again. Except this time, it's in Vegas. And I'm going to try to pull this up real quick. I believe that got it. Yes, it did. Let's just listen. This is an update from the other day on this biolab that they found in Las Vegas. And I'm just going to let the police officer talk here.
County Fire Chief Billy Samuels. You'll hear from all three of us. I want to provide a more detailed update and walk you through how this investigation unfolded. Just a little over a week ago, LVMPD received limited information indicating that laboratory equipment and potentially hazardous materials were being stored at a residence in the northeast part of our town. As our investigation progressed, we determined that the home was owned by the same individual connected to a prior illegal biolab investigation in Reedley, California that occurred in 2023. The nature of that earlier investigation raised significant concern for what we might encounter in this new case. In Reedley, investigators reportedly discovered an illegal biolab containing materials possibly associated with a range of infectious diseases, including hepatitis, COVID, HIV, malaria, and other potentially dangerous pathogens. While it is unknown whether similar materials were present here at the Las Vegas residence, the possibility required us to proceed with extreme caution. Because of these concerns, LVMPD's counterterrorism section and our Armor Task Force, in partnership with the FBI, immediately initiated a joint investigation and began developing detailed operational plans to address this potential threat. Out of an abundance of caution, extensive preparations were made. Resources were mobilized from across Clark County, the city of Las Vegas, as well as our other state and federal partners, to include some from outside of our region, to ensure that this operation could be conducted safely. The main suspect in this case, who you're going to see a photograph on the screen next to me here in just a second, is the owner of the house on Sugar Springs Drive. He's already in federal custody on charges related to the investigation of the biolab in Reedley.
I gotta cut in for just a second, guys. Originally, I thought, and there's some kind of little foobar in this statement. I think he may correct it here in just a second. But originally, I thought this guy was the one that actually owned the warehouse in Fresno, California that I reported on 2 years ago. But there was a little bit of confusion about that. But I'm going to go on with the video here.
California in 2023. I'm sorry. So that's not the main suspect. This is the main suspect in the California case. The primary suspect we arrested, however, is Mr. Ari Solomon. He's 55 years old, and his initial charge was a charge of disposing and discharging hazardous waste. Solomon is believed to be the property manager for both houses on Sugar Springs and Temple View. As previously briefed, the first phase of this operation began early Saturday morning. You're going to start to see a number of images from this as I talk. At approximately 5:51, our LVMPD SWAT team served a search warrant at the residence on Sugar Springs Drive.
Just to cut in for just a second, one of the major differences here in Vegas from the California biolab, and I have no idea why that picture is so crooked. It's not me, it's YouTube. It was a warehouse in California. They appear to be residential houses that these people set up these illegal labs in.
There were 3 individuals inside of that home. Each had independently rented a room from the property owner. They were safely removed from the residence, and at this time, they are not involved in this investigation. Based on the information we received, investigators believe that the locked garage was the primary location of the potential biological and hazardous materials. The search warrant was authored by LVMPD's counterterrorism section, and our multi-agency teams began preparing to deploy to the scene. To safely manage the risk, a layered use of technology, as you see here to my left, was employed throughout this operation. LVMPD police drones were deployed from the onset, providing a real-time aerial and situational awareness as SWAT secured the residence. Drone feeds were monitored remotely, allowing commanders to assess conditions, adjust tactics, and limit officer exposure in real time. We also employed our robot dog. Before we entered the room, the tactical robot was deployed to clear the interior and conduct initial air sampling. The robot can open doors, navigate stairs, and transmit video in real time, allowing officers to assess the conditions before entering a dangerous environment. Once this residence was cleared, LVMPD's Armor team entered the scene. Armor, for those of you that don't know, is our all-hazard regional multi-agency operations and response unit. They do all of the gamut of the CBRNE. Wearing protective equipment, including respirators, the team drilled a small access point into the interior door leading to the garage and inserted a probe to assess air quality.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna stop this because he's going on about all the tactical things that they did, which I've got to compliment. I've got to give some kudos to the Clark County law enforcement, to the Las Vegas law enforcement, and to the feds and people that were on the scene, because they, as soon as they found out about this, they jumped right on it. Unlike 2.5 years ago in California, where we had an empty warehouse, and the only reason that anybody even noticed anything going on was somebody noticed a water hose coming out of the back of the building. I don't know whether it was running out of a door or if it was, fed through a window. Somebody found a water hose, and they reported it because, I don't know, it was against one of these California laws or restrictions or whatever that they had. And it still took officials over a month to actually send boots on the ground down there and investigate the warehouse. Once they got there, I mean, y'all, I've told you, y'all know what they found. They found vials of HIV. They found vials of COVID-19. They found vials of hepatitis B, hepatitis C. I believe there was some Ebola that they found. If memory serves me right, anthrax may or may not have played into this. They found 800 and something lab rats that had been genetically engineered to not only carry the COVID-19 virus, but to transmit it to humans. 800, 900 and something lab rats, and 150 dead lab rats. Not to mention, and I didn't know this in the first video, but not to mention, they found a ton of dead insects all over the place. Whether those insects had gotten into something and died, or whether, I don't know, maybe they were genetically engineering fruit flies to carry COVID or Ebola or something. God only knows what these people are doing. But in Las Vegas, they found out about it. They were right on this. And this guy in the video, he goes on and on and on. I applaud them. Great job. But the thing about it is, it's just like I said 2.5 years ago, folks. We gotta get back to this 9/11 thing, where if you see something, you say something. Because we don't know how long people in these in these houses, we don't know how long these labs have been in existence, and we're not exactly sure what they were cooking up in those labs. So, folks, with everything that's going on, I mean, you've got protests, you've got Don Lemon, you've got all this crap going on. These people are sliding this stuff in right up under our nose, and we're not even seeing it. We need to wake up. We seriously need to wake up. Let's see what's going on over in chat. Red Dog said they needed time to remove the good stuff. I'm assuming you're talking about California with the good stuff. Let me see. Yankee said, almost sounds like a black site. Dark anyway. Maria, sleeper cells, just saying. Yeah, we went over that in that video also. I think I had said something like 1,800, maybe it was 18,000 Chinese nationals had crossed our southern border in the space of 3 months. And that was the ones that they found. I think it was 1,800. I don't think it was 18,000. I think it was 1,800 that had literally crossed our southern border right in front of our faces. I'm concerned about the news that bioengineered ticks being airdropped all across the country causing Lyme disease and who knows what else. Red Dog, I haven't seen that. It is very interesting, and I am going to check into it, but I have not seen that. But you know what? What better? What better than insects? What better than, if they can do it, and I don't know what they can do scientifically these days. We have made so many advances in bioengineering and things like that over the past few years that it would not surprise me if some sci-fi movie became true life and they're bioengineering ticks or mosquitoes or bees or whatever to transmit these diseases. Maria was saying the Red Dog compliments of China. I don't doubt it. I really don't doubt it. And I don't know, y'all. I don't know if these are all distractions that we're going through right now. I believe that 99% of what we see come across our news feeds, come across our social media, come across mainstream media. I believe 90% of it, if not more, is a distraction to what's really going on. And I've got some theories about what's really going on, but I'm not going to get into them until I dig deeper, and it's a deep, deep rabbit hole. Uh, did I see? Yes, I did. Good morning, family. Headed to Bible study. Wanted to say, hey there, y'all, sending warm hugs and love. Good morning, Carson. Thanks for dropping in for just a minute. I'm going to do some Bible study when I get done with this. For those of you who do not know, wait a minute, Carson had something else to say before she left out. I worry about tick-borne disease that makes you allergic to ruminant meat. I just worry about them bioengineering anything. But to go ahead with what I was saying, I've got a picture somewhere. I don't know if I posted it on YouTube or not. I've actually started enrolling in some classes from Hillsdale College. Me and Mrs. Shadey are sort of kind of having a contest to read the entire Bible in a year, and we've got a little chart that we go by and stuff. And I get behind, then I have to catch up because it's hard for me to sit down for 15 minutes a day and do anything. It's hard for me to sit down for 15 or 20 minutes and do a live stream. I'm just going through the chat, y'all. Yankee, good morning. I don't know if I caught you when you came in, but good to see you. Appreciate you being here. But yeah, one of the funny things about the video I did a couple of years ago on the Chinese biolab, very, very, very little was said about it. There were a few creators that reported on it, but not a whole lot. Seems like this time, and I don't know if it's, you just expect that kind of stuff in California, and this was Las Vegas. I don't know if that was it or not, but it seems like there's a ton of people out there doing videos on it this time. And maybe it's because in Vegas, or maybe it's because as soon as it happened, it got reported and law enforcement took over. Hopefully, I hopefully want to say that it was the latter, and that people are starting to notice and people are starting to turn things in. Anyway, I appreciate all of y'all coming in. I appreciate your time. Appreciate you stopping by. Keep praying for Nancy Guthrie, please. So like I said, this is not a red-blue thing. This is not a conservative liberal thing. It's not a Democrat Republican thing. This is a human thing, y'all. And if, like I said before, if this was my mom, if this was my grandma, I would be praying right now, and I would be hoping that all of you, because we're all human beings, I would hope that you would be praying to. We've seen a lot of stuff happen in this country over the past couple of years. We've seen people get murdered. We've seen people get assassinated. And I think a lot of what we're missing is that right there. I think that we have let politics divide us, and we've lost a little something along the way. I don't know. Red Dog said, makes me feel like Rod Serling from the Twilight Zone. Imagine, if you will. That is true. I feel that way too. Actually, if you go to the homepage of the channel and you look up and you see the Shadey Zone on the starry background, I got my inspiration from the Twilight Zone. I actually worked for a little while on like a Twilight Zone kind of introduction to it. Never did it. My Cross Ministries, good morning to you. Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it. Have a blessed day yourself, my friend. So, unless any of you guys have got anything else to say, I really hope this went well. I hope the streaming all, the Wi-Fi, all that stuff, the things that we usually have problems with around here. I hope all that went well. I hope all of you guys are doing well today. I'm going to try to get these things back on a regular basis. So far, it just seems like Thursday is the only day of the week that I've had time to do them. And today is a busy day for me because today is my favorite day of the year, y'all. It is my favorite time of the year. Today, I get to go down to H&R Block at 1 o'clock this afternoon. I get to go down to H&R Block and I get to stand in line with all these undocumented immigrants to pay my taxes. I am so looking forward to this. I am looking forward to the camaraderie. I am looking forward to giving the government all my money. It's just a glorious day for me, y'all. Please smash that like button if you are not subscribed to the channel, and I don't even know why you would be here if you are not. But if you happen to stumble on the channel and you like what you're seeing, go up and click on that subscribe button. The little bell notification, that is real good. But let me tell you something, y'all, because there's quite a few people out there that have told me that they have missed notifications. Recheck, make sure that you've got that notification button clicked. And when you click on that little bell, make sure that you click on all notifications. And you might want to check that regularly, okay? Because I need to get you in here when I'm doing these until I get on a regular and steady schedule with the live streams. Until the next time, y'all take care of each other and yourselves. God bless you, each and every one of you. Take care of yourselves. And hey, stay shady, you beaverines.
This is where we hold them. This is where we fight. And these shields, boys!